Hello, everybody. Sorry, I have some technical difficulties here because my phone decided to shut off, and of course it needs my face or a code, and it was underneath the holder. So yeah, so I guess we'll have to figure that out when we do this next time. I'm just trying to make sure that this is in the right spot now that I wiggled it all around. So sorry if I'm giving you all motion sickness. Okay. Oh, and we want to flip this so that you can see better, because all you can see right now is a small amount. I'm able to see you on my laptop screen, and you guys are not able to see much here. This needs to flip or something. That is not enough of a screen for you all. It's a very small space. I don't know how to change that though. See if I can figure that out really quickly. If not, well, we're gonna have to leave it for today. Yeah, my fingers are here. It's sideways. That goes up and down. So I think I have to switch my phone this way. Nope. Is that making it bigger? It's not. I don't know how to do that. Oh no. I apologize, you guys. I'm gonna have to figure that out. This is my first live on YouTube, as you can probably tell at the moment. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's just get started. I will try to be conscientious here that you can't see as wide of a screen as normal so that we keep everything in the right place. You probably don't all want to watch me fight with my phone, so we'll just continue on. And I see a Sandy here and a Colette. So thank you guys for coming on. That's so awesome. And I also know Marie is watching because she told me, even though she hasn't said anything in the chat yet. So welcome, you guys. Thank you for supporting me. I love that you're here. And we'll just get started. So I wanted to make a couple cards using this stamp set. I've had it for some time now. And when I first saw a card, I went out and I bought this right away. It was an impulse purchase, which I don't do very often actually. And then when it came, I was like, why did I do that? It's so cute, but it's so specific because it's really meant for, you know, anybody that's suffering with cancer. And, you know, we all know people that have cancer, but it is a very specific card set. So I do have the opportunity to use it, sadly. One of our design team members is just going through the process of healing from surgery due to cancer, so I thought it would be a good chance to use this and make a couple cards. So that's what we're going to do today. To save time though, I did pre-color everything. If you guys do want to see coloring, that is totally cool. Hi Flora and hi Tracy. I think it's Tracy. Thanks for joining. If you guys do ever want to see coloring, just let me know because I can definitely add coloring into lives, or I can also just do separate like little videos or whatever, or do separate lives, different day color and then a different day assemble. I'm a slow colorer though, so I just thought it'd be easier to get that out of the way and done. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my process. So this is how I normally do my coloring is I take a blank stamp and I pick out a paper. And then I color to match. So I've done two different color schemes here today. So I picked out this paper and colored to match, and this paper to color to match. So fellow design team member has endometrial cancer, I believe it is. Hopefully I got that right when I colored, but their color is peach. So I colored the ribbon to match for that. And then I just did a couple pink ones for breast cancer because it seems like a common one that I will use in the future. So that was kind of what we were going to do today. I will focus on this one today, and if I get a chance, like depending on how fast, we'll just build a second one out of the purples. So that's the plan. And oh, Sandy says she likes to watch coloring. I know I already probably could have told you that, but thanks, Sandy. We might do that for sure. Okay. So the next step here for me is to decide probably how I want to cut this out. And I already kind of had in my mind with the shape of this that I wanted to do a circle. So I'm going to do that next and then move on from there. And I just thought for the video, instead of like hauling over my die cut machine, I will just quickly go and die cut because I don't want to leave anybody, or don't want to like bring all of the stuff to this little tiny space. So yeah, we will just do it that way. And the other thing as a heads up is that I will probably also have to duck out when I go to sew. Like if anybody has seen my cards before, you all know that I like to sew on my cards. And perhaps in the future I will be able to get a system where you can see me sew, but right now I don't have anything. So unfortunately, when it's time to sew, I will have to just kind of step off screen. I'm just trying to see if I can get this to fit here, because I don't really want to go to the biggest circle. I often try to do a little bit smaller because I love using pattern paper. And hi Candy, I see you there. Oh, and Marie is now saying hello. So because I'm new at this, I'm really sorry if I don't catch all the comments, because that's a new thing for me to like look up and read while I'm crafting. So, but I'll do my best. And feedback is good too, you guys. If you notice anything that would be helpful for next time. Obviously, for those that have joined recently, I know my screen is the wrong way. I don't know how to fix it, so I will try to figure that out for next time. But yes, feedback is always good. Okay, so I'm just going to die cut this out. And some of the people that know me know that I have an old school die cutting machine still. So I have a Cuddlebug still that is probably about 15 years old actually. So we're still going strong with that. And it works good, right? So why fix it if it ain't broke? Okay, so I've got my little guy here cut out. I am liking that. And the nice thing about the way that he cut out is that I have this like blank space here. So that is automatically giving me a spot where I think, I'm gonna put my sentiment there eventually. So cool. I wanna mix and match my patterns. I rarely do just one pattern. So we're just gonna look for another piece to coordinate with this. Sometimes the B side is good, but this one is like all not good. But I do tend to mix and match companies and whatnot. I don't always go with like the coordinating paper, right? I will just go through my stash. So this is probably really close to you guys, but I'm just gonna see if I can find something that is going to complement this. And in this paper, there is a little bit of like yellow and light pink. So those would be colors that for me, I would be looking at to potentially coordinate with this. Especially because with our bee, we've got yellow. So yeah, so I think that's where I'm gonna start and see if I can find anything that I like. And I have these sorted by color. And then in the front, I have like a cut down, I'll just show you here, a cut down file folder. And I can put my scraps in there. So that way I actually use my scraps. And since I changed to this system, I actually use a lot of the little bits because I always go through them first. So I'm going to pull those out from the yellow and see if there's anything in here that I think will work well today. And even though this is a soft yellow, we also have a bit of a brighter yellow with our bee, so you can kind of get away with that brighter tone. So I am kind of liking, this is just the Doodlebug. I call them their basics. I'm sure they're all their different names, but I do like that color. It seems to be a good one. So you can see I've got the same Doodlebug scraps, same color in Doodlebug scraps there. So yes, since I changed to this filing system, I always search for things by color. So this works really well for me. So I always tell people when they're organizing, if you organize it the way you're going to look for it. So that's kind of how I came up with that system. So, okay. And then I almost always do these. I make these myself. This is a top folding A2 card. So, I just got that. We're going to build this on, and we know we got our circle. This is going to be kind of a true Shilo card, quote unquote. I sort of have a formula that I do over and over and over. It's always hard to describe it, but I almost always use an embossing folder, a couple pieces of pattern paper, a focal point with my stamp that's colored usually. And so even though I don't have a plan, there's always that kind of in the back of my mind. So sometimes they come together really quickly, which is great. When we're on live, we can get through more than one thing. And my goal, I think, is to do an hour to an hour and a half on the lives. I don't want to keep you guys too long. So, but let me know what you guys like, and we can go from there too. So definitely, again, open to feedback. So then I just kind of play with the idea of like, how do I want this? And I feel like right now, looking at this is going to be too much of this floral paper. So I would trim this down a little bit, and I will. So I'm going to do that right away, just because that's what I know. It's kind of different having to think out loud and do everything vocally, right? Because I just do it, right? We all just do our thing. So it's a little different, but that's okay. It's fun, actually. It's fun to have people here hanging out with me, so thank you. And I'm just going to get rid of all this scrap bits at the top here, because obviously I'm not going to be using that, and that is going to give me the idea here better to see if I like that stripe with it. And I'm also just going to flip it. Okay, so I feel like that's a little bit too intense for the color that I'm going for. So I think I do prefer the stripe. And I'm just going to take, so this piece is too small, but I may have more of it. And this one is, let's see. Okay, stripes or gingham? What do we think, guys? Oh, Colette, you're so cute. We could spend the whole day together, sure. You know what? I craft every day, so just let me know. We can hang out. Any votes? Sandy says gingham. Well, I'm good with either, so since she voted, we're going to go with gingham. Okay, so again, this is part of that formula that I do all the time. So this is so this piece goes right to the edge. I often do that with my main piece of pattern paper. So it's 4 1/4 right to the edge. And then what I would do with the next pattern piece is just trim it down slightly to either 4 or 3 3/4. So we're going to do 3 3/4 today. Just trim it down a bit shorter. And we're just going to cut little strips because it doesn't really matter, because they're just going to peek out like so. So that's kind of the main part of our card, just like that. Although we got lots still to do, but that's kind of the look we're going to go for. And I only did a couple things ahead of time just to save time, and I did pick out a embossing folder for this. Just so how I choose patterns, I guess I'll just quickly talk about that. So for pattern paper, you always pick a busier pattern, and then you want to pick a complementary pattern. So that's kind of how I do that in my mind. I've talked about that before, but just if you guys are ever wondering, how the heck do you pick out pattern paper? That is how I do it. So we'll do that again when we pick out paper for this one. But yeah, so this is kind of a busy pattern. Then we're going to pick something that complements it. So that's kind of how I do my pattern. And then how I do my embossing folders is kind of like, I look at what I've got going on theme wise, if it's floral, if it's masculine, I don't know. I just kind of go that way first, and then I see what I have. So for this one, I thought, well, a floral might be kind of cute in the background. And actually, I'm just thinking about this. I have some hive ones, and I don't get to use them very often. And because this is bee themed, I think I'm going to switch from floral to a hive. So there we go. So yeah, so that's how my brain works for embossing folders and paper. So I'm just going to grab my hive one. Be right back here. It's so hard to get everything on camera, you guys. I'm sorry I have to duck off here every once in a while, but okay. So we're just going to use this old school from Derry's honeycomb today. And so I'm just going to quickly do that. And I just, I pre-cut a bunch of these out myself as well. These are just slightly shorter than or smaller than an A2 card base. So a 1/4 inch smaller. And I just cut a bunch of them out because I know that I use them all the time for my embossing. So again, when you come up with your own like formula or style, it's handy because then you can make these little like shortcuts, I guess. So that's one of my shortcuts. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly put this through the machine. And there we go. So, and this is kind of what I do, is I just sort of lay it out and I think, okay, am I happy with that? Is that the look that I want? Does any paper need to be trimmed down? Because I will be sewing, and I don't like, once things are sewn, then you're kind of locked into that size of paper, right? Unless you want to like chop off all your sewing. And I think I do want to cut this down a tiny bit more. I want it to just be hanging off the edge a little bit, I think, just for the look that I'm going for. And I will be adding some lace. I know that for a fact. So I don't want this to be so full on the whole card, just the way I like it to look, I guess. So I'm just going to cut another 1/2 inch off of that. And okay, so just show you if you see the difference. It's just sometimes my cards are fuller and they like the patterns will fill more of the card, but I really like the white space and I like the embossing folder showing. So that was sort of why I did that. And then once I add a lace trim, like I usually do that along the bottom, then that's also going to take up some of the space that this pattern was taking. So that's why I just trimmed that down. So now looking at this card, I want to decide where I'm going to put my stitching. Oh, Sandy's leaving a comment here. I have started embossing 4 panels whenever I do one, so I have embossed panels on the ready. Could do the same for stencil. Yeah, exactly. When I make inked backgrounds, I usually do multiples and then I have them on hand. So yeah, great idea. I used to do that with my embossing folders, but I found that a lot of them just sat because I do mix them up so much and I have so many now. So, but that's actually a great way if you want to borrow people's too. I've done that in the past, is I've borrowed embossing folders and done a few of each of somebody else's, and it's so fun to have different ones on hand. So it's a great way to share too. So good tip, Sandy. Okay, I'm just going to quickly sew. So looking at this, I almost always stitch the full border around my back piece, so that we're definitely going to be doing that today. So that's on the embossed piece. And then because I'm going to put a piece of lace down along here, I want it to look like it's sewn, even though you'll see that it isn't actually going to be sewn on. So I want to definitely do a stitch along this edge, and so then I'll do one along the top as well. So that is what I'm going to quickly do. I apologize that I will be off screen for that. You probably hear my little sewing machine going, but I will be right back. Okay, well, hopefully that wasn't too long of a wait. I tried to sew fast, and because these were just pretty basic. It went pretty quick here. So now I'm just going to pull this thread through to the back if I can. Sometimes it gets all tangled like it is today. So I will do my best here to get some of it to the back. I just like to secure it. But if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. I know some people just trim the front off and they don't worry about attaching it and they don't mind that loose thread look, which sometimes on the cards that I'm doing, I like a lot too. But I don't know, I've just gotten in the habit of doing this, I think, more than anything. So, you know, sometimes we just do things because that's the way we've always done them. And I think that might be what's going on here. Oh, I thought I had gone over the edge with my, oh yeah, I did. My tape there. Okay, and then this one, see, this is where, like, I don't know, the way I do things doesn't necessarily make sense because I'm just going to trim these off and not tape the back. So there you go. There, so that's our sewing, and I mean, probably on the screen it's going to look pretty subtle, but I know like all of you have pretty much followed my card making journey, and so you've seen my photos and stuff, so you know that the sewing does show up, and it does just add an interesting detail, I think. And now that I started, I don't even know when I started, years ago, it's really hard for me to even make a card now without it. So, and then sometimes I'll do colored thread as well. So there is that option too, right? Like I could have done like a light yellow thread or something, but I often will do white on white. That's just one of my go-to looks. So I'm just looking here for a piece of lace. Or as Colette and Sandy call it, Shilo ribbon. So this is my little bin here of bits and pieces and bobs. I'm just showing you because I think, I don't know, it's kind of interesting sometimes to see what other people have. So yeah, I just have obviously stuff that's like larger quantities is wrapped, and then little bits are in here like this. And this one I just got, and I don't have any special place that I get this. Sometimes the dollar store, sometimes the thrift store, fabric store, and then I don't even like to say this online because I know a lot of people don't like ordering from there, but some of this is from Temu, and I want to be clear, I'm not a fan of stealing people's designs and buying off of Temu, and I totally understand that. And when I first discovered Temu, thanks to other people that I know, I never even thought about that. And then once I kind of figured that out, I didn't want to buy from there as far as like buying anything product wise that could be duplicated from another crafting company, right? So like embossing folders, dies, etc. Like they do rip a lot of designs off, and so I've avoided that. However, I will say I am addicted to buying their lace because they have a lot of really beautiful laces and they're really cheap. So I'm sorry if that offends anybody, because I know everybody has a different viewpoint on buying from them at all versus not at all, avoidance, etc. And I totally get that. So I don't even know if I should have said that out loud, but I did. Okay, so we are now ready to start putting this together. I think I'm going to use this lace, by the way, so that'll look really pretty along there. And for my lace, I use my hot glue gun. So you guys are talking about how you store your scraps. Cool. Good call, Sandy, to get everyone chatting. Thank you for that. You can be my unofficial moderator today. Okay, so I have a hot glue gun, and I don't use it for everything, but I do use it for attaching my lace. And this one is awesome. I don't know, it's just a cordless, I just got it on Amazon, and I bought it because it was pretty, to be honest with you, like out of the choices. So I thought, well, it looks so cute for my craft room since it's gonna be sitting out here all the time, as opposed to you know, big honking industrial looking one. So yes, I was that person. And so this is just a silicone mat. I don't really know if you remember, like back in the day when Tim Holtz first came out with distress inks and everybody bought the big big mats that you were supposed to use to like use for your distressings. This is one of those, like, and it's that old too, actually. And I just cut it up into smaller pieces. So I have a couple pieces floating around. I think I just cut it in half, actually. And I just took like a cereal box and sewed it onto the cereal box, so I didn't have to deal with like it being curled up all the time. So that's what that is. And I just use it for sticking down my hot glue stuff, because I can peel this right off as soon as it's cool. It doesn't stick to it, which is nice. And just so you know, if you have a glass surface, it does not work on glass, because I tried it. I have a glass tabletop that I have underneath this paper today, but just so it doesn't glare for you guys. But I tried doing it with the glass and it sticks to the glass, the glue. So that did not work. So the silicone mats have been a great way to do that. Okay, so just trimming that down, and there's my little lace edge, and it looks like it's been sewn down because I did that stitch. So yeah, that's the little trick to that. I haven't ever tried to sew my lace down. I feel like that would be a disaster. I don't do a lot of sewing. And because the edge is so thin, I couldn't imagine trying to actually get that in the right spot without, I don't know. It's not my thing. If it's your thing, you go for it. Okay, so we're gonna start assembling this guy a little bit. So I'm going to put, this is just double-sided tape. I know some people have been teasing me that they want me to use liquid glue. And I do have a couple, but I just have not been converted yet. Honestly, haven't been a fan. So I just maybe have yet to find the right one. I do use my multi-matte media, or I'm probably saying that backwards. I bet you I am. Multimedia matte. I don't know, this stuff. I do use that for like attaching embellishments and stuff, and I really like it because it dries matte and clear, and it's not sticky when I use it. So I think that's been the issue, is that when I have sticky stuff all over my fingers, or if it, like, you know how when liquid glue you press down and a little bit comes out and then it ends up being tacky, that drives me crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't been using liquid glue. Okay, so we know that that's going there. I know that I want to put this one up on foam adhesive, so we'll just get our foam tape on there. Are any of you crafting along, or are you all just watching today? And okay, so this is another one of my cheap hacks, and I apologize again to anybody that takes offense to this, but this foam tape is from the dollar store. I have priced this out in comparison to how much you get on Amazon per roll. That's pretty much it. And obviously any of the actual like brand names I find quite costly. If you're using it for scrapbooking, I can kind of understand the need to maybe do archival safe, etc. But for cards, I just don't seem to, it doesn't bother me to use whatever. But this is from the hardware section in the dollar store. I think it's meant for like sealing windows, or I'm not even sure, but it works great and it's cheap. So that's what I use all the time, because if you watch my cards, I use a lot of foam tape. Okay, so I just need to decide what color photo corner I'm going to use today, and I'm pretty sure I can tell you this right now, it's going to be white, because I just like that white on white background. So I don't really need to think about it too much, but sometimes I do like to use colored ones. I do have colored photo corners and they're fun, but for my taste, I don't always get to the colored ones. I don't know. I like that. I think it's part of my style, the white on white background, and then having the more colorful stuff closer to this like middle around the stamped image. And that obviously draws your eye to that stamped image a little bit more. So it's just been one of those things that I can tell you, Danny Reed, back in the day, and I'm so sad that she's not floating around anymore, crafting. I mean, I'm sure she's around, but she was on the October Afternoon design team, and I was obsessed with October Afternoon back in the day. And so I like glommed onto her style. Like I just loved everything that she put out. I was sort of like a super fan. Oh, we got people. Oh, Colette, I won't tell anybody. And Sandy too. You guys are both working while watching. Well, thanks for being here. I hope you don't get in trouble. But yeah, so I followed her, and she used to do a lot of white on white. And I think that's where I started with the white on white and experimenting and coming up with my own style. And I just put them on crooked. So seriously, with real time, you guys actually get to see me peeling up things, because I do that a fair bit. Okay, so we're just sticking these down flat to the card base as well, because this one's going to be popped up. And so this is kind of how I do it. I just sort of lay things out, and then I can get an eyeball idea of where I want things. So there, and I'm just not going to attach this one yet, because I may, once I get this sorted out, I might want to do some tie around here. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to figure out the sentiment on this next, and then we'll go from there. So back to our stamp set here. We'll just see what we got. I believe you can beat this. I like Honey, You're So Strong, or Wrapping You in Love and Support. I like all of those. Or even just Be Strong is cute, but I think sometimes telling someone to be strong, we don't always want to be strong. Sometimes we just need to be whatever it is that we are. And I mean, yes, there's strength in that. So I don't think I want to tell anyone to be strong, because it's okay if you need to cry on the bathroom floor. And I believe that. So, okay, so I think I'm going to do Wrapping You in Love and Support for today, just to make a decision and move on here. Okay, I'm just going to set this guy aside for a sec, and we're going to use our Misty, which I am new to a Misty, but well, I don't know how long you could say you're new to something, really. I'm new-ish at this point, to the point where like I'm still getting tips and tricks with it, because people are telling me stuff and I'm like, oh, that makes sense, you know, like that. So yeah, I'm still learning with it, but for basic stuff like this, I think we got her down. And this is a new stamp, so we're going to see if it actually stamps out. I'm just going to use my archival ink. This is kind of my go-to from the inks that I have. I don't have a huge selection of inks for my sentiments. I like the crispness of how it stamps. So, but being a new stamp, it may or may not stamp nice and crisp the first time. So we will see. There we go. Good enough. Look at that. Thank you. So that stamp set is my favorite things, by the way, if anybody is curious. So thank you to My Favorite Things for stamping beautifully the first time. And has anybody, well, I think everybody on here is familiar with Pajama Crafter stamps, but I just have to show, I'm just obsessed with this stamp press because he's so cute. And if you watch my process videos, he usually does a little dance break for you because, I don't know, I'm a nerd. Okay, so we're just gonna clean this off. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it because I've got another card to make. So yeah, we'll just use that again. In fact, I'm just gonna stamp them again right now. That would probably make more sense. We'll just flip this and do another stamp. How are we doing for time? Okay, so we're only at 8:35. Oh, we got someone joining in. I don't know your first name because it just says LH Harold. So hello, thank you for joining. We're just stamping out our sentiment here for our first card, and I think for the timing we're probably going to end up getting to the second card. So that's, which always goes faster because once we have the design we're just kind of copying it with different colors. So okay, and you know what, I will just clean that later. am going to cut this out with my, one of my labels, I think. Label dies, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's see what's gonna fit. That's always the trick. And then I want to look at this and go, do I want this big of one or do I want to go smaller? I don't think these little ones are gonna fit, so I might have to jimmy it if I want this style. Have you guys done that where you do where you use a longer one and then you can cut part of it and then go back and cut the other part? So I do that sometimes, but I think actually for this one I'm gonna use the little scalloped edge one. Man, my brain, I haven't even finished my first coffee, you guys. I slept in this morning, which is, I can't say it's super rare for me because the last week, maybe two, that's been happening to me. I have been sleeping. Oh, it's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Sorry about that. Thanks for joining. It's hard when you just see people's handles on like Instagram and stuff. Like you don't see a face, you don't necessarily see a first name often, and so you know people by their handles, but not necessarily by their name. So, but thanks for coming. I'm just gonna cut this out real quick. So if anybody on here does lives and knows how to get my phone to switch the screen so that it goes like into the wide angle, you can message me or talk to me later. I would love some help with that. Of course, if not, I will definitely Google, but I just, yeah, I had no idea because you can't, well, if you can test live, I don't know how to do it. So I didn't know it was going to do that until I was already like streaming, and then what do you do about it, right? Okay. So we've got our pieces here, right? So I think that's looking pretty cute. And yeah, we want to put this guy here, but I do think I'm going to add a little bit of probably just baker's twine today. So here's my fun little thing of twines. You guys are seeing all my goodies today. My secrets. My giant secret stash. No. I like the softness of this yellow. So that is, I'm not explaining what I'm doing, but I'm picking that one. So yeah, I like that. That's going to be cute. So that's what we're going to go with. I am going to stick this down first though, because I want that thread to go over top of this piece. Oh, thanks, Flora. It's probably something so simple, but you know, I was feeling a little bit panicked when it was not working. And it started streaming while I was fighting with my phone there. So I just, yeah, I'm sure it's probably something pretty easy, and that's just how it is. But anyway, hey, we have to start somewhere. We all have to be a beginner, right? With things. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stick him down before I put my thread on. Or not thread, sorry, twine. So another thing that would be great for feedback is what days and times work best for you. Is this a good time for you guys? Because I'm a morning person, and that's usually when I'm crafty, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Tuesday morning for me. I was just sort of looking at some of the other people I know that do lives and was trying to work around when they were doing theirs so that I wasn't overlapping too much. I'm just gonna peel this foam off of the back of where I want to put my twine. So yeah, if there's if this day works great, that's awesome, let me know. But if not, let me know of a better day. And if we get enough people on a different day, yeah, we can look at that, I guess. No promises, but. And so, okay, so I just tape down one end and then we're just wrapping. And I usually do 3 wraps when I do my baker's twine. And I have large spools of this because probably most of you don't know this, but I used to own a store in Cranbrook about in 2012. So how long ago was that? It was very short-lived. I bought a store from somebody, and they were, you know, struggling, and I thought I could do better. And you know what? Honestly, I did. But we had to close down pretty quick. It just wasn't viable. Long story. But anyway, so I had a lot of like big rolls of twine and stuff like that ended up with me. So I'm still using it. So this is crazy, but I'm still using it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just taking that foam tape that I had and I'm actually cutting it down the middle. Just because I need to go around this twine now, and that's still not going to be thin enough, but we'll just, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just going to put a couple pieces there just to support this end a little bit so it doesn't sink down once, you know, it goes past the, there. I think that'll be maybe one more little piece here. So you guys can see my, I don't know that I would say that I'm a ghetto scrap card maker, but I definitely do things on the cheap and a lot of old school stuff as well. So, yeah. So you can laugh at me in my cheap ways, but I don't have, for most things, I don't have full set syndrome. I can be picky about what I buy. So that's good for me. I know like that can be challenging for people. They want all the new colors, all the new inks. And I'm still over here using what I bought years ago. With some things. I still have things that I like to buy. Don't get me wrong there. Okay, so there we go. We just stuck that all down, and now we want to decide where we're going to put this sentiment. And we definitely need some kind of embellishment, which I'm thinking today is going to be a button. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, like I say, this is going to be a very typical Shilo style, because this, you've probably seen this card similar to this before. Okay, so this is how I store all my buttons and brads. I have a case of these. It's actually meant for photos. You guys have probably all seen these cases. They're great. And again, I sort everything by color. So, so yeah, so I'm thinking yellow again for this, but we may end up changing our mind, but that's where I'm going to start. So I have buttons, brads, anything that's kind of metallic, embellishment-y, that stuff, type of stuff, and I have all the different colors sorted. So yeah, so that's how I do that. And then I don't know, I was raised by my aunt and uncle, so my auntie had this big jar of buttons growing up, and when she would sew, and I had this thing about going through them. I loved digging through all the old buttons, and some of them were like very vintage, and I just loved digging through and looking at them all. And so every time I do this, it reminds me of that. Ooh, this one's super cute. See, I got lots of random things, but that has like a little bit of a flower in the middle, so that one is super cute. Okay, so the yellow is, do we like the yellow? I'm just gonna see if I have like this pinky kind of peachy color before we decide. That would be the only other color I think I would probably go for. But I think in my pink, I don't have a ton of that color left. It's sort of one of those colors that has, see, like this one, but it's huge, right? Oh, it's kind of fun actually. It's pretty big though. Like it takes over too much of our little ribbon, so I won't use that, but that is the right color. But yeah, I don't have much for that color anymore, so I guess that means that by lack of other option, yellow it is. Okay. So I'm gonna just put some foam tape on it, and you can see how it wants to like, so whenever you have twine like that, that's why I cut that or remove that foam. It kind of has a bump. So if you put foam tape on it as well, then it's like double foaming it almost, like it has too much dimension. So I just put it on the half there, and now it'll sit nice, right? You can see what, I hope you see what I mean by that. Where am I getting all my buttons from? And yeah, and the yellow button, thanks Sandy. Yeah, it's a collection of years. So we all used to have like those little packs of brads, and like I've been scrapbooking. I was a scrapbooker first. So for about, I would say so probably 25 years or so I've been at this. So, you know, we collect, we get collections of brads, we get collections of, you know, fabric brads. Obviously you saw all the little mini paper clips, which I bought all the Doodlebug colors of, you know, like just on and on it goes. And then again, when I had my store, I bought a bunch of bulk buttons and had them in jars for people that they could purchase them. Like they could scoop out a little baggie of them or whatever, and they could pick different colors, or they could just do all solid color, whatever they chose. So that is where I ended up with quite a few buttons still. Okay, so we want to just embellish this little button. I don't want him to be plain. That's no fun. So I'm just deciding if I want to tie a knot. I feel like that's probably going to be the simplest, because I want this ribbon to show, and if I do a bow or anything, I think it's going to cover it up. So I think today I'm just threading this through, and I'll just tie a knot on the top side today. So just keeping that part simple. Yes, I licked it, sorry. It's the only way I can get this through the hole. I'll trim that end off, I promise. So I don't gross anyone out. So yeah, it's probably hard to see, but I'm just tying a knot, right? So I just tied one, and now another, and that is it. There is just a little knot. Okay. So hot glue to the rescue here again. And we're just going to stick him right on the corner there. And then we will trim these off. Okay, so this is almost done. The last thing I want to do, I just feel like it's a little bit out of balance, not much, but it's just to my eye. I want to add some tab punches to the top. It's just, again, one of my signature things, and I don't know where it comes from, why, but it's just sometimes the perfect little addition. I often do textured white. So this is a textured white basil cardstock from forever ago, and if anybody knows where to get this, please help me, because I cannot find it anymore. So what I have is, I think I have like 1 or 2 sheets left, and then I'm out of luck. But I do use this a lot on my cards. And yeah, we're just gonna see. So the plain white is good, but I think we also are gonna need a color with that. So I'm gonna do 2, and I'm just bringing these little scraps that I still had out because I haven't put them away yet, and just see if any of these are gonna be good. And I think that might be where this stripe is gonna come in handy. So let's see if I can get another, look at me being frugal. You guys, look at this scrap piece of paper that I've saved. Oh my gosh. Certain colors, I will do that. Not all of them. Like most things, that would have been long gone. But I know that I use all these little bits like this with this color. So that's why I'm doing that. Anybody else save that tiny little piece, like that small of pieces? Because yeah, I can admit it's pretty silly. Oops. Okay, so I like to just layer these like that. Give it a little, like it looks like it's, I don't know. Looks like they're off kilter a tiny bit. Like they're just sitting in there random, and then we're just gonna tuck these in, and like so. And I sometimes will just kind of bend up the corners, give it a little bit of texture and interest. And I think we're just going to add a little heart, because that's also something that I love to add to all my cards. And then we'll probably, then this one's done, and we can try to get through the purple one, if anybody is open to that. How are you guys feeling? Do you want to see me put together the purple one, or are you guys feeling done for today? It's not quite been an hour, but I know I don't want to keep you all forever, or if you are welcome, we can do the other card. I usually craft for a little bit longer, and I will do it on my own for sure, but if you guys aren't up for it, that's totally okay too. I got one vote for the purple one. Oh, couple, yes, please keep going. So, okay, we'll do a purple one, and it should go faster just because I am going to repeat this design identically, but we're just going to use different colors, so it'll go quick. So these are just Pink and Main confetti hearts, the little clay hearts. I have a few, not very many, but I do have a few different ones, and so I just thought the colored ones might be cute with this. And if you guys don't have one of these wands, Pajama Crafter Stamps has them, and I've tried other stick wands, 2 different ones actually. I don't even know who buy it, and I threw them out. They are so frustrating, but this one is amazing. So, a little plug for Pajama Crafter Stamp. So I just want to see what I might want to do here. I don't know. You guys are seeing real-time play time here. I know you're supposed to do things in 3s, but I don't know if I've got enough room to do 3. Well, maybe. Okay, so that's that color, but I also have this yellow. Let's see, do we like yellow better? As I tell you, this is amazing and it won't pick up. Okay, I think we'll just go with the orange actually. When else am I going to use an orange heart, honestly? And it's kind of, yeah, I think that's good. For the sake of time, let's just move on, right? Get these on here and move on to our purple card. And I just am using that matte mixed media by Ranger, and I use this all the time for all my embellishments. Okay, so that is our finished card, just like that. So yeah, we will move on to our purple one. I just need to clear a little bit of space quickly here because I am running out of room. Okay, where is our purple goodies here? Hiding underneath my stack of, you guys, the last time I did a live, I did one for Mustache not too long ago, and there, FYI, there will be some coming up through Mustache if anybody's interested in Mustache. So does everybody on here know about Mustache? That's a good question to start with. Mustache is an app that is fairly new. And their concept is going to be a community base. So they really are working on getting a great community going there. They do, every Saturday, they do a communal, I'm just going to cut this, grab my circles here for this. Did I put them away or did I, oh, here we go. So yeah, every Saturday they do a crop together. They have a gallery in on their web, like on their site. So that's pretty cool too. And they also, the really cool thing about it is that it's a way to, not store, but it's a way to show your, or catalog, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a way to catalog all your supplies. So it's awesome because like a lot of those companies, and I've never done this before, so I probably don't have a ton of experience or information. I'm just going to cut that circle out about how other companies work for the organizing and keeping track of your stash. But with Mustache, if you put it in, it shares with the community. So if somebody else has already put in that item, you don't also have to put that item in. So it makes it really easy to keep track of your stash of things, especially stamps. So they don't have every single company in yet, but they are working on it. Their goal is to have every item future forward in their database, as well as every item that has ever been, which is pretty amazing. It's a huge goal. And yeah, so anyway, if you guys haven't heard of them, you should definitely check them out. They do have a option to use, I think you can go on and trial it for free. And I don't know what the cost is or anything like that. And I'm not trying to be a salesman other than to say, like, they do have a community and they are working on starting to do some lives and whatnot. And I will be there. Friday is my next practice, quote unquote, run, just because they're trying to get everything up and running. And then I should be on there regularly, and there will be other designers that they're going to bring on regularly. So it's kind of a neat thing to check out. Okay, I'm going to do my embossing folder. Get all this stuff off screen done here. I'll quit talking and focus on what I'm doing. Like I say, I'm not used to talking through everything, so it's definitely a different concept when you're trying to craft and talk out loud. Okay, so another A2 top folding card. So we've got that. We've got our circle. And we've got our pattern paper. So we need to pick a second pattern. And as I'm looking at my original card, I'm thinking, actually, that gingham is pretty cute. But I will just take a peek and see if there's something else, maybe in pink. So we'll just bring the stash back up here and see what we have in our pink. Because that could be a fun color to accent as well with this. But I might end up with the yellow. We'll see. See? The doodlebug paper, you guys. I saved little bits. Isn't that ridiculous? Does anybody else have a company that they like, or certain papers that they do that with? That's kind of cute. So that's a maybe. I don't know if you can see what I'm flipping through here. I know I'm so narrow. I'm sorry. This is just all the little scraps at the beginning here, but they were getting into more peachy colors, so I don't think those ones are going to work. Okay, so pink and purple, or purple and yellow? What do you guys think? Any votes? That's the pink one. And well, before I say anything too loudly, I don't know if I have enough of that gingham anyway. I'll have to look. But this is sometimes what I will do. So Echo Park and Doodlebug, Sandy says. So I'm not the only one with the Doodlebug. So this is so here we can see this with pink and we can see it with yellow. And what are we? Now that I'm seeing both of them, I actually really do like the pink. And Flora agrees with me, so we're gonna do it. Oh, and Sandy, sorry, she voted for yellow, but someone has to win, I guess. We do have yellow on there too, I guess. So I mean, we're all winning. We're all winning. Okay. So we're gonna, and the nice thing about doing the pink, I guess, is that it's gonna give me a little bit of a different, more different look. Like if I did the yellow, then it's so similar, but I mean, that's okay too. Because it is basically the same card on repeat. Okay. So this is just getting trimmed down to 4 1/4 wide, because I know I want it to hang off a little bit off the edge. And it's, how wide did so I'm just measuring how wide I did this floral on this one, and it was just 3 inches. So we're gonna do that, trim it down. Do you guys do this? Do you make doubles of your own cards? I almost always make 2 of every card. And this one I'll end up making 3, which is totally totally fine with me, but I won't do that on camera. I'll do the third one off camera just to save, because I have to do so many things off camera. I'll just do the last one on my own time so that you don't have to wait for me to do double sewing and stuff like that. Okay, so I am going to go do my stitching really quick on this one, and then we should mostly be ready to be on the screen the whole time after that, so I won't have to run away any more than that. I don't know if you guys can hear me well with the sewing machine, but if anybody's interested in sewing on paper, I do have a tutorial that I've done on YouTube on my channel, so you can certainly check that out. It's very basic stuff, honestly, but it just gives you a few tips and tricks about sewing on paper that's a little different than sewing on fabric. So if that's something that's interesting to you, you could definitely check that out. Okay, sewing is done. So yeah, we're just going to repeat that whole process. Got to pull the threads back, but I mean, and I do show this on my little sewing video too, and I think I show it in slow motion so you can actually see what I'm doing here by pulling the threads to the back. Oh, thank you, Sandy. See, you are being my unofficial moderator today. You're the best. So Sandy's just shared the link in the chat there for the sewing video if anybody is interested. So that was very, very thoughtful. And I think I can do that after this video, like after we're done doing the live. I think I can go in and add like a couple of links like that, but again, I'm learning, so I'll have to figure that out. Okay, oh, and see, sometimes this happens when I miss the corner. I don't know if you can see that well, but I'm gonna put a photo corner anyway, so that will cover up. So, and sometimes I don't have the opportunity to put a photo corner where that happens, like it just doesn't work out, and I just leave it. If it bugs you, you can stitch over it again, like restitch it, but I have done that. If it's a dark color thread that you're using, it stands out a lot more than the white on white. But yeah, I usually just ignore things, so. And Colette is saying that when she first learned to sew, they gave her paper to sew on. Yeah, actually, I think I remember doing that too. So there you go. That was a way of learning. Maybe that's what gave me the idea to start sewing. No, actually, I have to give kudos again to Danny Reed, because she used to sew on her cards, not as much or like how I do it, but she definitely used stitching as like an addition to her designs, and I loved it. And so she always used button thread, so it's a thicker thread. My machines have never liked button thread, so I just use regular thread. So yeah, it was like very obvious where she stitched all the time, and she just, I don't know. If you guys don't know who Danny Reed is, you should definitely check out some of her stuff. She's got a very unique style, and I think I have her on my Pinterest. So if I remember, I will try to link that up as well at the end. So if you're interested in her style, you can go check her out, because I was a huge fan of hers. And she has definitely influenced my card making over the years. So okay, so whoops, throwing things around here. We are just gonna, oh, I guess I want to put my, never mind, let's set that aside. I want to stick my lace on here so I know for spacing where we want to put our polka dots. So I'm gonna use the same lace actually because I think it's really pretty. So yeah. So I live in a really small town in what we call the West Kootenays in British Columbia. So that is one of the reasons why I've ended up shopping online for stuff like this. So there just isn't anywhere here to get anything. So, and the closest city is 3.5 hours away. So it's just not something that not a place I get to very often. So that is one of the reasons why I ended up ordering stuff online. So yeah. If you guys have access, I know like some of the stores, Sandy and Colette, you recently picked up some Shilo ribbon, quote unquote, so the laces. Where were you when you were shopping for that? Because maybe that's a good resource for people that are in the States, and something that if it's a bigger box store or somewhere that they can actually access some good laces. Because I don't love having to send people to places like Temu, you guys, or, you know, I don't, but secondhand stores too are awesome because it's amazing what people, you know, like somebody passes away, unfortunately, and they were a crafter, like all that stuff ends up in the thrift store, and you know, it's just little bits and pieces, but hey, for card making, it's awesome. So, you know, that's definitely a place to get stuff as well if you regularly go to the secondhand shops. Okay, so Paulette says Hobby Lobby. So we don't have a Hobby Lobby in Canada, actually. So there you go. That would be an option for you guys to find some fun trims for your cards if that's something that you would like to do. We have a Michaels, but again, you'd have to get it at a city. So, oh, lace and fabrics from Etsy. Well, there's a good idea because then you're supporting somebody else too. That's, well, I would assume you're supporting somebody. I know Etsy has changed a lot, but I think a lot of people are still doing their own little shops on there. I don't know, Flora might be able to speak to that a bit more, but okay, so just spacing where we want that polka dot and making sure everything's straight. I feel like it's crooked somehow, but I think it's this little edge here of this lace is bent and it's like making it look like it's wonky, but I think we're good. Okay, so because I know we're going to do a wrap of twine, I'm going to put this guy down first. Just foam taping him. I love supporting small shops too, and I guess especially because I have been a small business owner, I kind of do everything. Like if I'm being honest, right? Like I will shop at the dollar store. I do go to Walmart for some things. I do try to buy things locally at our local grocery stores, supporting people, you know, so I kind of do a little bit of everything. And what it comes down to for me is like, I'm on a budget and sometimes you just have to go with what is affordable. And unfortunately, like if I had all the money in the world, you guys, it'd be a different story for sure. But so I just make the best choices I can for me, but also, you know, when I can support, I will. So that's sort of my thought process, I guess. Okay. So now we're going to stick this guy down and we have to decide on our twine color. So we could go yellow or pink, I'm thinking, with this. So I guess once we stick this down, we can pull those out and take a peek. This is the stuff that I cut out of my process videos, all the peeling of the foam tape, because there's so much of it. It's not very fun to watch. There. Okay, twine. So this was the yellow that we used last time. I don't know. It's subtle, so it might look cute. Might be nice to do something contrasting to the pink. And then here's the pink one. I can just kind of, I think yellow, because I'll probably use a pink button. So then, I don't know. Let's see. Just take away the pink and add yellow. What do you guys think? Yellow with a pink button or pink with a pink button? Maybe pink. It's more consistent. This is a lot of pink. I feel like that's a lot of pink. Anybody else? Like, I feel like I kind of want to add some bit more yellow in there. So you know what? We're going to do it. I'm going to add some yellow in. That'll... Sandy voted, oh, pink and pink. Now she's voting pink and pink. I'm like, Sandy voted yellow earlier, so she is. Okay, well, how about I pick out my button, and then that will give us a better idea of what we want. So once we have a button, then that maybe will give me the idea. So we'll just dig through. I think that polka dot one is cute, but I think it's going to be a bit much with all the other polka dots. That's an old, see, this is an old school Doodlebug one. Like, it just, that's the funny thing is that I actually know some of, like, I still know some of the brands and where they came from. Like, this is crepe paper. Like, oh, like, how do I remember that stuff? I don't know. Can't remember people's names, but I can remember where what company the buttons are from. So what I find with these random button collections that I have is that the size that I use the most on the cards starts running out, and then I end up with these little tiny ones that I don't use as often. So like right now, even though it looks like I have a lot of pink buttons, the size that I use is pretty low actually. So on the colors that I use. So that's what happens. And I haven't figured out a place to get more. Yeah, I don't know. That one's the little bit wrong color. That one's better than the big polka dots, but maybe I need to flip over the big polka dot one. Where is it again? Send the tiny buttons to me. Oh yeah. You know what? I would in a heartbeat if shipping wasn't so ridiculous in the States. Well, Canada to the States, I should say, not. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna look at some yellow ones and we'll decide here. We'll get this. This is the finicky stuff. So there's another one of those cute yellow floral ones. So I don't know, what do we think? A little contrast. Because we can also reiterate this contrast with our little tabs as well. So I don't know. Well, maybe what I'll do now is cut out my tabs and we'll just see. This is how my brain goes sometimes, you guys. Like, I gotta just trial it first and then we know. So we're just gonna bring back some yellow. I might need a bigger piece. And sometimes I just do this. I don't even necessarily have to cut it out, right? You can just kind of do a little. Yeah, I like the pink and yellow together myself. So I'm just gonna commit a little bit, not that these are stuck down, but commit by cutting them out and then go from there. Oop, sorry, wrecking things here. So this is my go-to punch. I am sorry to tell you that this is not existent anymore. It is by Fiskars. But it was a collab with Jenny Bolin. I don't know if any of you guys remember Jenny Bolin. She did have her own like paper line, and I have her inks that she collabed with Ranger on, and so yeah, she had product basically, and so I have a few things by her still, but she doesn't have anything going on anymore. Okay, so I like that for the tabs. I think that's cute. So now we have to decide how we're gonna do this bottom part. If we're gonna do yellow, all yellow. I like that. I think that's bringing in the yellow a bit more. And the pink, all pink to me was just a little bit too little girly maybe. Oh, thank you, Candy. You guys are all at work. That's I might be going back to work, and then I don't know what my life is going to look like. That's just reality, right? But for those of you who don't know, I've been off work because I've been struggling with a lot of like autoimmune type issues, fatigue being the biggest issue. And when I say fatigue, I don't mean I feel sleepy and I need a nap and I'll feel better. It is full body fatigue where you aren't functioning. And I used to be a very avid hiker, very active. I was working out daily, yoga, on and on it went. I was sort of one of those people, you know, meal prepped, ate healthy, very fit. And it has been life-changing to be in the position that I am in, where I have not been able to do most of the things that I could do before. And anyway, long story short, here we are a couple of years later, and of course they want me to go back to work, insurance and such, right? And money comes down to money, unfortunately. But I'm not feeling, I feel like with my card making and stuff, it's allowed me to get work up to the point where I could maybe do something part-time, but they are suggesting that I'm ready to go back full-time, and I am not feeling that at all at this point. That it feels very overwhelming to me. So I don't know what's going to happen because I'm kind of fighting with the insurance company about that right now. The goal for them is to have me return to work, you know, functioning fully healthy enough to be able to stay at work, right? And at this point, to go back full time, I'm not sure that that is where I will be at. So I'm kind of fighting with them to say I'm not quite there yet. Like I probably could do part-time, but I can't do full-time. And so I'm just not sure what's going to happen with that. So yeah, that's my story. And the good thing though that has come out of that is the amount of time that I've been able to spend crafting. And I am so blessed and thankful for that, because when I went off work, it was so bad that I wasn't even crafting. I had taken months off. I was just, my world got smaller and smaller, and all I could manage was to force myself to go to work. And I was just in tears most mornings doing that. Like it was very, very hard. And my doctor actually encouraged me to just go, what is it that you like to do? And I was like, well, I've always been a paper crafter. And she's like, well, just go sit with your stuff, you know, because I was just like not even interested. I was just so exhausted. And so yeah, she just had me go sit in my room for a few minutes every day, and that's what I did. And now I've worked up to being able to craft my mornings, and then I usually peter out. It tires me out, but I can do the mornings. And so I've been able to craft and meet lots of wonderful people, and get all these great cards made, and all these wonderful companies that I've been able to work with. So yeah, it's been a really amazing time for that stuff. But obviously I see that Flora understands the flare-ups. Yeah, that part has not been good. And they don't have a diagnosis, or they're not sure what's going on yet. They're still doing a lot of experimentation with me and medications, and you know, eliminating things out of my diet, and it's just been a long journey. So yeah, anyway, enough of that. I don't want to get anybody down, because you know, it is what it is. We all have our struggles, and that has just been mine. But yes, the silver lining is that I am here and I get to do this. So that wouldn't have happened, you guys, if I was working full time. There's no way that I would have been able to get into this to this point, you know, to commit 2 to 3 hours a day to crafting would have been really hard to do, working full time and working out and hiking and doing yoga and doing my meal prep and all the things that I was doing before. So, you know, I would have definitely crafted, but I wouldn't have been able to do as much as I am now. So I'm really thankful for that. So yeah, if you guys are prayers, if you guys pray, that's probably the better way to say that. I could definitely use prayer answers to what's actually going on, because we just haven't been able to pinpoint what is happening. So then it's really hard to come up with a solution or a proper treatment to get it under control to function normally more times than not. I'm just going to die cut this out really quick. Thank you guys for your support. I see that there are some people that understand, and yes, crafting is healing. So okay, we're just going to attach this guy here and with my half piece of foam tape. This guy's almost done. We're almost done, you guys. Oh my goodness. So and then I want to put a piece of just regular tape to stick. It probably won't do a lot because it's going to be sticking on the twine, but it just helps a little bit to stay put. And Sandy says she knows people that suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome. So that's one of the things that they're basically saying at this point that I have multiple syndromes, but syndromes aren't actually the root cause. It's just sort of the result of whatever's going on in your body. And so, yeah, chronic fatigue syndrome, long COVID, fibromyalgia. Most recently, they were talking about mast cell syndrome. So, I mean, there's lots of options of what may or may not be going on with my poor little body. You know, so, but that's basically what they all have the same kind of symptoms is the hard part, right? Like, and it is a process of elimination to diagnose. And so it's a long haul. They say the average person spends 2.5 years before they end up with a diagnosis. So we're just hanging in there. Okay, so there are some little purple hearts in here. And this is going to be our last little step, I think, is just determining which hearts to use. Okay. I don't know if I like the purple, actually. Why is this not working after I talked about this being so amazing? It's Murphy's Law, right? You say, oh yeah, you have to have this, and then it doesn't want to cooperate with you. There's also this little light pink. Let's see, do we like the light pink? Well, I might like the light pink better today. Yeah, I think so. Or do we want yellow? I'm probably overthinking this at this point, you guys. Yellow or pink? Or both? What do we think? Bye, Sandy. Have a good meeting. Thanks for joining. And we're almost done. I will, as soon as I can get some good lighting, take pictures of these cards so you'll be able to see them. But thanks for hanging in and helping with moderating a bit there. Okay. Maybe I'll do 2 yellow, 1 pink. No, we're just really mixing it up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, stick these down. Find my glue. I could probably put it away. Oh, someone's liking the light pink. So we're going to do both. So you get the best of both worlds. I don't know, sometimes I do random weird things. There we go. Okay. Whoops. It might be time for me to go eat some breakfast or something. I'm doing weird things here. Okay, so that is the finished card of that one. Yeah, and I don't know if you can see, I put a little stickles on his wings. That's one of the things I like to do with my cards. So that's both of our cards there. Hopefully you can see those okay. And yeah, like I say, once I get some good lighting, I've really been struggling with lighting lately for photos. So I will get some pictures of these and get them posted so you can all see what we made today. But that's everything I have for you. I will be popping on next Tuesday at the same time, and we will be focusing on some Crafty Stamp Co. Stamps. So if you are able and interested in joining next week, I'm going to try to be consistent with my timing unless I start hearing feedback from people and this isn't a good time or day. We'll just kind of stick with it for now. So yeah, every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be trying to do some lives. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for putting up with my narrow screen today. And we will definitely, hopefully, be a little bit better next time. I appreciate you all being here. Have a lovely day. Now I got to figure out how to turn this off. So that's going to be a thing too. My phone is, oh man. The problem is I'm using my phone and I don't know how to, okay, I guess we'll just do that. Stop streaming, end, yes, okay, bye everyone.